Genie Plus can save you a ton of time at Disney World, unless you're picking these attractions. You might be doing Genie Plus wrong. Like groceries or Netflix, Genie Plus is deceivingly expensive. You see a price tag of $20 to skip the lines and think, oh, that's not so bad. But then you have to pay that for every single person in your party, and across a whole week you can easily drop $400 to $500 on an all-powerful being who makes you put in all the work. And it's very possible to do a bad job at it, picking lightning lanes that won't save you any time. Hi, I'm James from Guide to WDW, and I spend way too much of my free time thinking about Genie Plus, mainly being baffled at why some rides are even included. Genie Plus includes 58 attractions, but there are 24 lightning lanes that just aren't worth it. Yeah, that number surprised me too, but I have the data to back these picks up, both with the average wait time of the ride and the average sellout of the lightning lane. These lightning lanes either don't save you that much time, therefore not so great rides, or both. And with a couple of exceptions, these lightning lanes are easy to get. They don't sell out super fast like Slinky Dog Dash. So I'm not saying avoid these lightning lanes like they're a Disney World churro. Disneyland fans know what I'm talking about. But everything in this video should be lower priorities when you make lightning lane reservations. This video is broken into 4 parts, one for each theme park, with chapter markers in case you ever need to reference it again in the future. Let's put this genie back in the bottle. Part 1. Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom has the most number of Genie Plus Lightning Lane attractions with 23, but there are 8 rides where Lightning Lane won't save you much time. I've broken them up into 2 different categories. Rides that usually have a short wait, and shows where Lightning Lane is kind of pointless. Let's start with the rides. These usually have short waits, with average wait times all under 25 minutes. And the quality of rides in this group isn't the best, with most of them being just plussed up versions of carnival rides. Mad Tea Party, Tomorrowland Speedway, Magic Carpets of Aladdin, Barnstormer, and Dumbo. Dumbo is the only ride of these that I really love, and I only really recommend it to parties with small kids. Similarly, Tomorrowland Speedway is fine if you have younger kids, and Barnstormer is a good first coaster for little ones. But these are all rides that are meant for a younger audience. If you're going on a busier day, Genie Plus can definitely save you some time on these rides, and all of these have pretty boring queues except for Dumbo. But still, all of these usually have availability until later in the day, so they would all be among my last picks at Magic Kingdom. But there are 3 attractions that you don't even really need Lightning Lane for. They won't save you any time. The first 2 are Mickey's PhilharMagic and Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor, where you're just put into the last holding section for the line before the show starts. And these have short enough waits that you most likely aren't saving any time. The third show is the Festival of Fantasy Parade. You do get to go to a reserved section, but this isn't going to actually save you any time. If you want an unobstructed view, you still need to get to this area about 30 minutes before the parade starts, which is something that you can do anywhere in the park without a lightning lane. Once again, if the park is slammed, sure, but all 3 of these should be your lowest priority. Before I get to EPCOT, let me know if you have any Lightning Lane or Genie Plus questions. I'm working on more videos in the series, and I'd love to be able to answer any questions that you might have. And be sure to get subscribed and hit that bell so you don't miss a thing. EPCOT doesn't have that many Genie Plus attractions at just 11, and unfortunately over half of them don't save you that much time, including what is probably the most pointless Lightning Lane in all 4 parks. We'll get to that later. But let's start with 5 rides that usually have a short wait. Unlike Magic Kingdom, most of these rides are good in my opinion. Let's start with Mission Space, Spaceship Earth, and Living with the Land. These lightning lanes are fine. The average wait time is low, but the rides are really good. Spaceship Earth and Living with the Land are incredible, and their lines are on the boring side, so skipping even 15 minutes is fine. Mission Space isn't my cup of tea, but some people love it. The next 2 rides are Journey into Imagination with Figment and The Seas with Nemo and Friends. Personally, I never had to wait for Figment or The Seas in recent memory, so Genie Plus kind of becomes a choice between which empty line you want to walk through on an average day. But any of these 5 rides I just mentioned can have long lines on busy days. However, there are 2 attractions where Genie Plus is absolutely pointless. They're shows, and you just don't save that much time on shows with Genie Plus. That's Turtle Talk with Crush and Disney Pixar Short Film Festival, which is the most pointless Lightning Lane at all 4 parks. This show is constantly a walk-on and one of Disney World's most skippable attractions, in my opinion. So is Genie Plus even worth it at EPCOT? Stay tuned for my EPCOT Lightning Lane guide, which will cover just that. At Hollywood Studios, you can save a ton of time with Genie Plus on massive rides with massive lines. But there are 6 other attractions, including the worst Genie Plus meet and greet for saving time, and then a ton of shows, like so many shows. And if you've been paying attention, you can tell where that's going. So the first category is attractions that usually have a short wait. There's only one, but it includes one of the hardest to get Lightning Lanes at Disney World, which typically sells out by 4:19 p.m. The Olaf meet and greet. But this is also by far the Lightning Lane that will save you the least amount of time in line of all the meet and greets. The other Genie Plus characters have average waits of around 40 minutes. So at a 19-minute average wait time, the Olaf meet and greet isn't a great pickup. Now we get to the shows. Muppet Vision 3D and Disney Junior Play and Dance are just like PhilharMagic. They put you in the last part of the line before the show starts. And these shows have even lower waits, pretty much being walk-ons. You don't need Genie Plus for those. For the other 3 shows, you do get to sit in a Lightning Lane section. That's Indiana Jones, Frozen, and Beauty and the Beast. But if you want a good seat in that Lightning Lane section, you might still have to line up early. If you don't mind where you sit, then you can show up right before showtime, which is also usually the case with the standby line. That's the basic problem of Genie Plus and shows. You either get to go to the front of a waiting area or a designated seating section. Either way, you basically get better odds at a good seat without saving much time. This is a huge issue at the next theme park. Part 4, Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom is tied with EPCOT for the least number of Genie Plus rides at 11. 6 of those can save you a significant amount of time, but the other 5, well, how do I put it? It's shows, it's all shows. Let's start with 2 shows where Lightning Lane isn't necessary, but fine. If you have Genie that day, you might as well pick them up because the ride lineup at Animal Kingdom isn't that deep. That's Festival of the Lion King and Finding Nemo. Once again, Lightning Lane isn't going to save you a ton of time for these shows, but you might get a better seat, and these are the 2 best shows at Disney World. And then there's the 3 that don't save you any time at all. Feathered Friends in Flight, which is a delightful show that I've never ever once had to wait in line for, like not in even over 2 decades of visiting Animal Kingdom. The next one is super fun, but it's hidden all the way in the back of the park, and scheduling a time slot to go back there can actually be tricky. You literally have to take a train to go to this attraction. That's the Animation Experience, which is a really cool drawing class that never really has a wait. And finally, it's Tough to Be a Bug, which, like Muppet Vision, is almost always a walk-on, but unlike Muppet Vision, isn't the best show. At least in my opinion. What do you think? Are there any rides that I should have also included? Let me know in the comments below, and stay tuned for my park-by-park Lightning Lane videos, coming soon. This has been James from Guide to WDW. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you real soon.